The top 30 tips to get rid of belly fat. Burn and lose visceral and subcutaneous belly fat. Shocking image. That is an extreme case of obesity and excess visceral and subcutaneous belly fat. Belly fat loss is about the following: intensity and volume of training. You must train with a near maximum metabolic intensity and perform a large volume of work. Decreasing inflammation in the body and enhancing the immune system. Managing stress and decreasing the body's output of the hormone cortisol. Creating a healthy gut which leads to low cortisol and less inflammation. Managing insulin health and glucose tolerance with diet and regular physical activity. Belly fat loss is about elimination of foods that you are intolerant of and the elimination of foods that are wholly unhealthy. A few things you should know about belly fat to help you lose it. Notice the visceral fat on the outside and on the inside and the subcutaneous on the outside. Belly fat is made up of two kinds of fat. Number one, subcutaneous fat, which is below the surface of the skin and can be pinched with the fingers or calipers when measuring body fat. Belly fat is also made up of visceral belly fat, which is inside the abdominal wall, below the muscles, and can't be measured with calipers. Losing visceral fat will decrease your waist circumference and make you look much leaner around the middle, but it won't get rid of fat at the umbilical or supraleak, that's subcutaneous fat. Visceral belly fat is considered a metabolically active organ because it releases substances called adipokines, which are cell-to-cell signaling proteins that increase blood pressure, raise LDL, that's bad cholesterol, and alter insulin sensitivity, causing diabetes. Adipokines released from visceral belly fat actually degrade muscle quality and turn it into fat. Diabetes and large amounts of visceral belly fat are generally interrelated health problems that are closely linked with development of cardiovascular disease. So, here are the top 30 tips to get rid of belly fat. Number 1, strength train with a large volume, 30 to 45 sets per workout, and short rest periods, 10 to 60 seconds, to produce more lactic acid buildup and greater growth hormone response. Tip number 2, use a hypertrophy type protocol, 8 to 12 reps, more than 3 sets, 70 to 85% of the 1 RM load, RM meaning rep per minute. Tip number 3, do modified strongman training at least once a week, build muscle and lower body strength while elevating growth hormone to enhance fat burning. Tip number 4, work hard but smart by manipulating rest sets, reps and tempo. For example, 6x6 squats with 60 seconds rest and 12x3 squats with 25 seconds rest produce equal metabolic cost. Tip number 5, do sprint intervals for conditioning. For example, 6 200-meter track sprints, 4 minutes rest, or 60 cycle sprints of 8 seconds each, 12 seconds rest. Tip number 6, do conditioning outside rather than on electric powered machines. The dirty electricity raises cortisol and alters energy use by messing with insulin sensitivity. Here's tip number 7, improve your mental outlook and commitment to excellence. So you need to visualize, focus, that type of stuff. Tip number 8, lose belly fat with total body training and sprints. Avoid the 15-minute abs programs because they do sport reduction. They don't focus on overall body fat percentage loss. Tip number 9, always eat breakfast and opt for a high protein, low glycemic meal. Try the Poliquin meat and nuts breakfast. Tip number 10. Don't train on an empty stomach. This lowers the body's use of fat for fuel and results in less calorie burn during recovery. Excess post-exercise oxygen use. Tip number 11. Eliminate all processed foods from your diet. Don't eat them ever. So it's more of a lifestyle change than just a diet. Tip number 12. Don't avoid fat. Just be sure to eat smart fats such as those found in fish, wild meats, coconut oil, olive oil, avocados, and nuts. Especially coconut oil. I highly recommend coconut oil. Really good stuff. I'm gonna do a video on oil pulling soon. And we're on to tip number 13. Eat a high quality, high protein diet to increase the resting metabolic rate and the amount of energy required to digest food. Belly fat loss tip number 14. Take leucine enriched branched chain amino acids to lose more visceral belly fat while promoting muscle building and a high level of performance. Tip number 15. Support insulin sensitivity. Take omega-3 fats to make your cells receptive to insulin. Eat less than 120 grams of carbs a day only from low glycemic sources. Tip number 16. Consider eliminating gluten, wheat, and grains to support insulin health and lose belly fat. Tip number 17. Make sure your vitamin D level is over 40 nanograms per milliliter. Take vitamin D if not. Low D status is linked to belly fat gain even in young, healthy subjects. Tip number 18. Ensure you get adequate fiber. Shoot for at least 25 grams a day. Low fiber intake leads to poorer insulin health and more belly fat gains. And we're off to tip number 19. Eat seeds, especially flax seeds, because they promote elimination of chemical estrogens and will decrease belly fat gain even when eating a high fat, high fructose diet. Tip number 20. Ensure you have a healthy gut. Compromised gastrointestinal health directly leads to elevated cortisol and belly fat gain. Tip number 21. Take a probiotic to suppress gut health and ensure that you have adequate stomach acid. Read the HCl acid test to learn more. Tip number 22. Limit fructose in the diet to only fruit sources. Eliminate all fructose corn syrup. Tip number 23. Get adequate sleep, and if rest is a problem, opt for an early to bed, early to rise sleep schedule because this has been linked to better body composition. Belly fat loss tip number 24. Use a grateful log to lower cortisol, a gratitude log. Tip number 25. Reduce stress. Do yoga, do martial arts, go for a walk, perform mental imagery, get a counselor or coach, do meditation, do whatever works to reduce your stress. Tip number 26. Drink at least 3 liters of water a day to stay hydrated and to detox the body. Tip number 27. Eliminate alcohol, juice, soda, and sports drinks. Stick to water, tea, and coffee. Haha, definitely coffee. I recommend the bulletproof coffee. Bulletproof coffee rocks. Tip number 28. Eliminate all sugar and all sweeteners. That is cane sugar, agave, maple syrup, all of it. They don't help, because they go straight to your belly. And tip number 29. Take 500 milligrams of magnesium to calm the body and decrease cortisol. You could use magnesium oil, which gets the magnesium to your system transdermally. Tip number 30, finally, belly fat loss tip number 30, eat antioxidant rich foods like berries, dark chocolate, leafy greens, and olive oil to prevent inflammation. So that's it for the 30 tips to lose belly fat. And the resources, you could read the original article, checking those links. All those links are below in the description box of the video. So, hope you enjoyed it. Check out the links and boom. Thank you. Click the links in the description box for more information. Alright, bye for now, folks, and go lose that